Hello everyone, and thank you for taking the time to watch this short video. I wanted to just go through some of the changes to the scope and sequence for next year, kind of the reasoning behind some of those decisions, and how to look at the data that I'm sharing with you now for your school. So as you know, all sixth grade teachers, science, and seventh and eighth grade teachers were asked to fill in a survey that looks similar to this, that talks about the standards and then asks, did we not cover it, just introduce it, surface cover it, able to cover it, and then cover it completely. And so what I've done is I've gone through that data and made some decisions as a district in how I can support the results, and then gave the school some autonomy to make some decisions on fitting different units into your scope and sequence next year. So this is the sixth grade results. And so as we look down, you can see the colors as they go, one being did not cover, and then this purple 5 is that we fully covered the unit. And so as I look at the trends of this data, and you're going to have this as one of the attachments, you can see that the materials unit and the waves unit are two units that as sixth graders, they definitely probably are not going to have that content knowledge coming into your schools next year as a whole. And so what I'm going to do is provide some maybe asynchronous units that the students can go in, find some information on those materials, have some base level assessments, activities to do on their own. So kind of be like asynchronous remote learning for the materials and the waves unit. So that will be coming for folks next year to give to their incoming seventh graders. For the other data, what I've done is I've broken that data down into each school. So this is just an example, but you're going to get a doc that looks like this that will be specific to your school. So the feeder elementary schools, let's say, for example, that come into Forest Grove. In the solar systems unit, if you see a 5, a 4, and a 3, what that means is that all of your feeder schools were saying they, at minimum, surface covered the objectives, was covered pretty well, or fully covered those objectives for the solar system unit. Each one of the units for sixth grade has that information. You can see if they have a 2 or a 1, what you're seeing is that maybe those were not covered as well. In the scope and sequencing for next year, you're going to see that there are 3 places open where your school can decide what should we fit into this time frame to make that gap or to close that gap of those standards that our feeder schools are reporting that they did not cover or just introduced. So for example, this school might look and say, oh, materials, we've got to have some time for that. Or engineering design, we want to have some time for that. So you might decide to put engineering design here in this unit, and then maybe the materials here in this time, whatever fits for your school. So you have that kind of flexibility. Those spaces are also available in the scope document. You'll see here, here's a possible sixth grade catch-up unit. When we looked at the eighth grade data, there were 2 units which showed that maybe as a district, the seventh grade had some time getting to or needed more time to cover. And so for those 2 units, which is the Earth and Human Activity and the Forces unit, what I've done for the 8th grade scope and sequencing is I've actually increased the time. So you can see now there's longer time for the Earth and Human Activity, and then there's a longer time for the Forces unit, because 8th grade was saying you didn't have enough time to cover that. If you have any questions, I am always available. Just reach out. Email is best, and I look forward to supporting you. Have a great summer.